The brand new smaller versions of the Amazon Echo are out. The new Echo Dot costs $50. It's even cheaper if you buy a 6-pack. Joining us with his review of the new Dot is Roberto Baldwin from Engadget. Welcome, Roberto.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for coming on. So how powerful is the new Echo Dot compared to the $180 Amazon Echo?
It is the same thing, except you removed. Okay, here's what's missing. It's missing the giant speaker that's inside that whole tower, and it doesn't have the dial at the top to adjust the volume. You have to push buttons to adjust volume manually, or you can just say, Alexa, turn the volume down with your voice. So I like dials more than buttons, but that's nothing, and I think most people probably wouldn't even notice it.
The other thing you can do is you don't have to just say turn the volume up or down. You can say Alexa volume 8 or volume 2 or volume 10 too. So
yeah, and that's sort of the sort of great thing about Alexa. You just kind of yell at it, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter like what the form factor is when it comes down to it. But I enjoy the fact that I can plug in my speakers. So any speakers I have in the house are better than the Echo, and I've had the Echo for over a year, and I like the Echo a lot. But the Echo Dot it's $50. I'm not even sure why you would buy the Echo unless you don't own any speakers, and you can use wired speakers and Bluetooth speakers with the Dot. And I was able to get it to go back and forth between Bluetooth and wired. So if I have Bluetooth speakers in one room and the wired speakers in another, I could just say, Alexa, disconnect Bluetooth. It disconnects it, and whatever music is playing or audiobook is playing, it will it'll switch over to the wired speakers. And then if I say reconnect, connect to Bluetooth, it switches over to the Bluetooth speakers. And you just if you like yelling at your technology.
And who doesn't? Seriously,
we're doing that anyway. We might as well get some value out of it
and get some feedback from the technology that we're yelling at. So one of the things that I hear, because I never have owned the Echo myself, one of the things that I've heard that's really great about it is its ability to hear voices from across the room, be able to reject noise in order to get your voice commands. Do you get the same results with the smaller form factor Dot, or is it at all different in that regard?
I had it next to the speaker and it still heard me. So I put it next to the speaker because, if you're going to plug it into a speaker, there's a good chance you're going to have it next to the speaker. Mm-hmm. And, Alexa, tell me what time it is. Alexa, do whatever, how much gas is in my car. It heard me. About 95% of the time, which is a pretty great success rate considering, most voice controlled devices. I mean, I have Siri right here in my face, and she's just like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's Siri. That sounds like Siri, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I got the original Echo Dot 6 months ago. I have the Alexa, and then I have the Dot, which was more expensive. Is this one? I know this one comes in a different color. Is there any other differences between the original Dot and this one that's cheaper?
I think it's just buyer's remorse is what the difference is right now.
I definitely. I may or may not have bought two more. I have a bit of a problem.
Oh dear.
An Echo.
And and if you don't have it connected to speaker, it still has an internal speaker, so you could put it in your room if you need something that's like the Amazon's talk about using it as an alarm clock, so you can say, Alexa, set the time to wake up at X amount of time, and you're lying in bed and you realize you forgot to turn off the lights or whatever, you can do that. And it has like a little anemic speaker that if it's like near you, it's fine. But just plug it into your Bluetooth speakers or into your house speakers, and you're golden. I mean, it works with Spotify, it works with TuneIn, it works with Amazon's new music, whatever, Prime Music Pro. These companies need to figure out what the name of their stuff is. But it works with Pandora and all these other things. And set it to the default for Spotify if you're a Spotify user, and I just yell out playlists, and it starts playing them.
So, one of the reasons that I did buy two more is that I think it's really great for kids, because I think, kids that, tweens and teens that might have phones, but you don't want them to keep them in their room at night because you don't want them to be texting or whatever. So you can, my kids like to listen to music at night. They like to listen to audiobooks. So you can get the screen the way of texting or, Facebook living or whatever, periscoping out of it. And it's just a device that might, it's just a speaker, it's just music, it's just audiobook. So anyone who has I don't know, 9, 10 year old and up kids, I think it's great, especially like they can use it to turn off their lights and, those kinds of things, control the things in their rooms with it as well.
It's the next version of the clapper.
It is. So you said in your article, you say there's a good reason to be cautious about with sensitive material when you're talking around the Amazon Echo. So, especially if you're thinking about having it in your children's room. Why would you say that?
Well, I'm just naturally paranoid. I also cover security, and I found at DEF CON this year, I found out that a lot of security researchers and hackers actually have an Echo, an Alexa, which seems counterintuitive, but it's actually, people just like it. But there are instances where you're sitting there and you're watching TV or you're talking to somebody, and suddenly Alexa is like, I didn't understand what you were saying, because it thinks it heard the watchword. And so when it thinks it hears the watchword, which happens, in my household every day and a half, every 2 or 3 days, it'll, it's confused because you're not asking a question, you're not giving it a task. It just hears a watchword and then just whatever your conversation is. Now, it hears the watchword, and then now there's that point of your conversation. So it sends that up to Amazon. It also ends up putting that information in the app. Now, there's, I'm just paranoid. If you're going to talk about something sensitive, just you can mute it. You can turn off the mic, and you can talk freely and not worry about Alexa accidentally hearing that you're doing something. And if you're sharing, let's say you're like, best case scenario, it does this, and you're planning a birthday party, a surprise birthday party, and it hears you, and then it puts that information back into the Alexa app, because it'll tell you like things that you've done throughout the day in the app. If someone else is using that app, they're going to see that you're planning a birthday party for them, which is kind of a bummer.
Right, or if your children happen to ask it things that words they might not necessarily
Alexa,
use in front of their mom.
Did mom by chance tell you that there's going to be a surprise birthday party for me? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And, if you're extra paranoid about more important things in your life, then definitely turn that microphone off when you're having those conversations. But for the most part, you're daily watching TV and just yelling across the room how many quarts are in a gallon. It's pretty great.
Sure. Now it comes in a 6-pack. You had said at the top. Can you link all 6 of those together to have like an Uber Echo House?
Well, you can put them all in the same account.
Okay.
So, and while one's doing something, another one can. So you can listen to a book on one of them, and then you can listen to audio on another.
Okay.
And it depends on Spotify usually only allows you to listen to music on one device unless you have a family account. But you can. I had them in two rooms next to each other, and I was able to. You can say, I want this one to do this one, and this one to do this one. So if you have 6 of them, you can potentially do the same thing. I don't have 6 of them. I don't even have 6 rooms in my house, so or my apartment. But if you have a large house and you want one in in the family room, one in the living room, one in the kitchen, one in the bathroom, the bathroom's a great place for it. I don't know how long it'll last because of steam and whatnot, but you get your daily briefing, you can get your traffic thing. There is one issue with traffic. It only allows you to put one destination. So if 2 people in the house commute, one of you is, figure it out with Waze, I suppose.
You can, depending on how far away it is from your bathroom too. Like I can control it from my shower if I want to change something.
Just yelling things from the shower?
Yeah, yes, I do. I really talk a lot about what devices I use in the shower on this show. I might want to think twice about that.
Echo!
That is literally what I do. So
order shampoo.
Well, I think, Roberto, you have some cats. You might consider this for their holiday gift.
Oh yeah, cats love Echo. No. They've knocked over the tower a couple times. So the Dot, if you have cats who like to just walk up and knock things over, the Dot is probably, because they can't.
Smaller
it's got the little rubber stopper.
Right.
Yep. But the tower, they're just like, huh.
But you are right that you can use it. You can use them for listening to different things, but the big issue is that you can't. It's not like Sonos where I'm listening to TWiT in one room and I go in another room and it's and you have to if you have more than one, I have to use different wake words for them. Otherwise, they wake up everywhere and they're not synchronous, and that can be really annoying.
Yeah, it's really weird. You have this weird echo. Amazon emailed me today that they turned that on, the ESP on. So now I have to go back and test that feature to make sure that if they're near each other and they hear me, only one of them is going to answer. So
that would be nice. Yeah,
that would be good.
We'll see how that works.